So, PS3 emulation release time, Wolverine PlayStation 5 news, and new PS5 UI update. Those are the stories we're going to go over today, and if you could hit that like button on the video, thank you to those that do it, and as always, it's very much appreciated. First, did you have an Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3 back in the day? We're going to be talking about PS3 emulation today, but I'm curious, how many of you were 360 owners? I remember a lot of people jumping from Xbox 360 to PlayStation 4 and then to PlayStation 5. So comment below, did you have a 360 or PlayStation 3? Or maybe both? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the first story of the video, Wolverine PlayStation 5 news. So this is a relatively quick story. Insomniac Games posted up a video of Sunset Overdrive. This is a game they've released back in 2014 for the Xbox One exclusively. They do this often, where they share a video or image for one of their titles, regardless of the platform it was on. They've done this for Resistance, Ratchet & Clank, Spyro, Spider-Man, etc. People saw this post, and one person asked Insomniac Games if they could remaster Sunset Overdrive and bring it to the PS4 and PS5. There have been rumors in the past that Sony would be bringing Sunset Overdrive remastered to the PlayStation 5, but obviously there's nothing official on that. Insomniac Games replied to this person saying they're hard at work on Wolverine PlayStation 5. So this was interesting to read because we know that Insomniac Games has several teams. It's not just one team making one game. There's a team, I believe, that was working on Ratchet & Clank, a team that was working on Miles Morales, and a team that was working on Spider-Man 2 all at the same time. I assume these teams grow and shrink depending on where each project is at in the development process, but there are multiple teams over at Insomniac Games. So when they say they're hard at work on Wolverine, it sounds like the whole studio is working on Wolverine. I don't think that's the case. I think they say this because Wolverine is the only project they've actually announced. I think that's why they're saying this. People were asking about also Spider-Man 2 DLC, which is another thing that Insomniac didn't announce, but they leaked it accidentally with the Spider-Man 2 update earlier this year. Again, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully we get some clarity on what first party is doing, including Insomniac Games, DLC, the Venom game, maybe even information on Wolverine, something like that later this year at the potential showcase where they're going to reveal the PlayStation 5 Pro. And if you're enjoying the video so far, hit that subscribe button and join our growing community on our way to 150,000 subscribers. Now, diving into the second story of the video, a PS5 UI update. So as we know, Sony is running a beta program right now specifically for the Explore page, which is currently only in the US. We found out not too long ago from fellow YouTuber Mystic that Sony has revamped the page to allow for things like live wallpapers and widgets that share various pieces of useful information from across your PlayStation 5, essentially a snapshot of your console in one dashboard. Recently, they've updated the beta Explore page with more changes, according to Mystic. Here are the changes: time-sensitive temporary widgets for things like reminding you to claim your PlayStation Plus monthly games, which I know a lot of people forget to do, even friends of mine, or progress for data transfers or downloads of any kind, so you don't have to go to the control panel to see that information, or a change log for recent updates like the Explore page beta change updates, so you can see what changed over there. You can set these to appear at the top or bottom of the Explore page via the Explore page settings. Beyond that, they also added a new widget for messages that lets you flip through the messages that you have recently. The storage widget will now allow you to display SSD and external storage space to see that information. Before it was just the internal storage, I believe. And for the game captures widget, you can now filter it for recent favorites or trophy captures, or shuffle across all different types of captures, the ones mentioned. So some changes and new additions here and there, but it looks like this thing might not be far off from release, which makes me wonder if it will finally come to the rest of the world. It's US only right now. Before, we didn't care about the Explore page because it showed advertisements, I believe, and stuff many people didn't really care about, so it was put to the side for a lot of people. They really didn't really care. This Explore page, however, is something I'd want to have access to. Maybe Sony will launch it with the next major update for the PlayStation 5, or maybe before that. We'll see. But you guys let me know if you have access to this new Explore page or not. Let me know down in the comments below. And now diving into the final story of the video, PS3 on PS5 Backwards Compatibility. So recently on Monday, we spoke about PS3 emulation coming to the PlayStation 5. We had another person chime in on the topic, which is Special Nick. He said that he's heard Sony is set to bring select PlayStation 3 games to the PlayStation 5. Since then, obviously, people have been asking, when is this thing supposed to release? Last thing we heard is that this was potentially set to be a PlayStation 6 feature. But since Special Nick spoke on the topic, this made me believe that this could actually come sooner than we thought. Now, adding to that, we also had Jeff Grubb speak on the topic this week as well. He stated that he was under the impression that Sony was set to reveal this feature, this PS3 emulation feature, early this year. He stated, it's something that I've heard has been in the works for quite some time. I thought it was going to get revealed earlier this year when I first heard about it. That clearly didn't happen, but that doesn't mean it will never happen. Maybe it does. If he was under the impression that Sony was set to reveal this feature earlier this year, then Sony could have potentially been setting up a PS2, PS3 big 2024 release for both of these emulation processes. Now that we have obviously PS2 emulation, when are we supposed to get PS3 emulation? Considering what Jeff Grubb has said, I am now under the impression, or belief I guess, that this could actually release sooner than we thought. This brings me back to the point that I've made previously, which is the Killzone 20th anniversary. I mentioned this over on X, I've mentioned it on the channel before, but just as a reminder, later this year marks 20 years of Killzone. What they could be doing this year, considering they were possibly set to release PS3 emulation earlier this year, is that they could release Killzone 1 as a PS2 emulated game and Killzone 2 and 3 as PS3 emulated games. I hope that's genuinely the case. Of course, I would rather have Sony actually remaster 2 and 3, give us 4K 60 support, DualSense support, and remake Killzone 1 because that needs a remake, but that's the ultimate tribute to the franchise, and that's obviously asking too much of Sony. What I'm hoping they do at least is they give us Killzone 1 on PS2 emulation and Killzone 2 and 3 as PS3 emulated games and drop all three of those later this year to celebrate 20 years of Killzone. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen. Please, what I hope doesn't happen is that we get Killzone 1 as a PS2 emulated game and they just throw in Killzone 2 and 3 back into the streaming catalog. I hope that's not the case. Obviously, this is not a confirmation, but I hope that's what happens. But you guys let me know if you think Killzone 2 and 3 will get emulated later this year or not. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button as it always helps, and subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And now, I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is a part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is the body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with expand the explore page Sony. Obviously, I'm saying here, give us the explore page for the rest of the world. If you want that as well, destroy the comment section with expand the explore page Sony, and I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now, I'll check you guys out on the next one.